Hello folks, welcome back to the CompTIA Security Plus hands-on labs. Now this right here is lab 1. I am hoping you've come here from the last video where we talk about setting up your lab. So we set up Metasploitable or Meta and Kali Linux on top of your VirtualBox. If you haven't done that yet, please go ahead and watch that video first. I will leave the link to that video in the description. So this lab 1 is all about working with Nmap and Netcat. Now, before we dive in, let me just get you up to the speed with exactly what you need to know. And that way you have an idea of what we're going to be doing here. And I realize that some of you are new to these. So Nmap, it's a network mapper. It's a free open source tool that allows us to check for vulnerability, literally, like we can scan for vulnerabilities, which I'm going to show you how to do that. And we can discover hosts, we can discover networks, we can discover services and ports that are open, that are closed, all that good stuff. So Nmap is used by the good guys, the bad guys, and everybody in between. Now, Netcat, on the other hand, is a multi-purpose tool that we can use this tool for a lot of different things. We can use this tool for reconnaissance, for post-exploitation. One thing that we can use this tool for, and this one is the most fascinating one, is opening a backdoor. And that's exactly what we're going to do with the Netcat in this lab. Right? So let me get you up to the speed with exactly what we're going to be doing. Then, enough of talking so we can dive right into the whole thing. So what we're going to do here with Nmap, first thing I'm going to do is show you how to get help. Because unfortunately, I'm not going to be with you all the time. But the good news is that a lot of the tools on Linux, they come with what we normally call a manual page or help page. And I'm going to show you how to get help. From there, we will do some basic Nmap scans. Then we're going to take a look at the Nmap scripting engine. Ooh, and this is where we're going to get into the vulnerability scanning type of stuff. From there, we will take a look at Zenmap. Then after Zenmap, we'll dive into the cheat sheet. Because the thing is, you're not going to memorize everything that comes with Nmap. And you want to know not only how to get help, but also the cheat sheet, right? The most frequently used options and stuff like that as they relate to Nmap. And like I said before, what we're going to do with the Netcat is literally opening a backdoor. So basically we're going to create a listener. Then we're going to use Nmap to see if it's going to be able to detect that. Or if someone is stealing the data, it's exfiltrating the data from one computer to another. Can Nmap detect that? Or any of these cybersecurity tools, by the way, can they detect that? So that's going to be really fun. So that being said, enough of talking, let's get busy. So the first thing we're going to do here is making sure that we have everything running. So bring up your VirtualBox, right? And then make sure your Kali Linux is running and make sure your Metasploitable, it's running as well. So let's go ahead and just sign in. So let me bring up Kali here. If you don't remember, username is Kali and the password is Kali. So I'm going to just say Kali and Kali again. I'm going to sign in into Kali. And there we go. Let me bring Kali here. There is Kali. And then bring back Metasploitable here. So with the Metasploitable, the login information is right there. So it says contact, so it says login with MSF admin. MSF admin is the username and password. So I'm going to just put those in. MSF admin, fadmin, and we're in. All right, so now maybe you already know your IP addresses. We've wrote them down last time when we were doing the last lab. But if you don't, just go ahead and type in ifconfig just to double check. All right, you can see that the inet, it's 192.168.1.171. That right there. I can move the mouse into it. So that's the Metasploitable or Meta, right? 171. And we can go to Kali here, bring up the terminal. So you can just click on the black icon there. Or we can go here and just search for terminal from there. Make this a little bit bigger for you. And then we can just do ifconfig, and that's the IP address. One thing that we need to do is making sure these two are communicating, right? So let's just go ahead and ping the meta. So 192.168.1.171, we hit enter, and it looks like it's pinging just fine. So go ahead and do Control C on your keyboard, and that's gonna stop this from pinging, right? So it looks like we're communicating okay. So the first thing we need to do, now that we already know the IP address, we already know that it's pinging just fine, let's go ahead and clear the screen here. Let me go ahead and clear the screen. You can just type in clear and hit enter on your keyboard. That's going to clear the screen for you. The first thing we need to do here is make sure that Nmap is installed. So let's do nmap -- version, right? And I'm going to hit enter on the keyboard. And right now, my colleague is telling me, hey, look, Nmap is installed. You have the 7.92 version installed. Fantastic. That's all I need to know. If it wasn't installed, you could just easily install this by doing apt-get, install nmap, right? Easy. I mean, you can leave in the comment section, then I'll jump right into it. Or join the Discord, and I will help you. Now, like I said earlier, what I'm going to do first is show you how to get help. So we're going to type in nmap again, and then we will say -h. -h means, hey, help me, right? I need you to help me. And -h, if I scroll up here, literally goes in and give you kind of a most frequently used options of Nmap. It's telling you, hey, look, you can, target specifications, host discovery, scan techniques, and these are the options that we can use. So if you've ever felt like you don't remember one of the options, just come here and Nmap is going to remind you. One thing that I'm going to mention here is the scan techniques. So for example, this right here, the TCP SYN scan, this is the most common used scan that there is. Right? These are the options, but by default, when you scan using Nmap, this is what Nmap is exactly doing. So we're going to use some of this. And another thing that we're going to use is -a. And -a most of the time is into miscellaneous here. So -a really is going to go ahead and give us more information. Look at this. So we're going to do some operating system detection. We're going to see the versions. There's some scripts and traceroute and all that good stuff. So we're going to do that for more information. And from there, we'll dive deeper into the other things. So this is the help page right here. So another thing we could do is type in man space nmap and hit enter on your keyboard. Now this right here is the manual page. And basically this is going to give you more information than what the help page will give you. It's going to start with the description exactly of what Nmap is. Then from there, if you dive deep, go down a little bit, it will show you an example of how to use Nmap, as you can see here. Nmap with the option -T4, this is the speed. I'm going to talk about speed once we get to the Zenmap maybe. Then from there, the target. And then this is an example of what you're looking at from that particular command. But this is like the basic of Nmap right there. If you scroll down, you'll start seeing the same stuff, right? Target specifications, host discovery, scan techniques, and so on and so forth. So this is the same things that we've seen from the help page, right? But if you keep going down, and the manual page, the man page, will give you all kinds of juicy information here for you. So if you ever feel like you need some help, this is exactly where you want to go. I'm gonna do Q on my keyboard to get out of that. And the next thing we need to do here is to become root so we can get right into the fun stuff, right? Now that you know where to get help. So type in, let me go ahead and clear this screen here. Just type in clear. I'm gonna do sudo su dash. Now right here, you basically want to become root because as you start doing the Nmap scanning, you have to be root. So what we're going to do is type in Kali for the password. That way it will become root, of course. And now let's go ahead and get started with the scanning. So the first thing we're going to do is scan Metasploitable or meta to see if we might find any open ports and stuff like that. So let's do nmap and let's just put the target is IP address. So 192.168.1.171. If you remember, that was the IP address of that bad boy right here, right? So this is the attack machine, right? Kali is the attack machine. We are the attacker. And now we're scanning Meta, our target machine, to try to see if we might find any open ports and services that are running, anything that we can use against this guy, right? So let me go ahead and just hit enter. And this really doesn't take long because this is the default scan. You know, look, we didn't put anything special here. We just basically, we were like, okay, Nmap, go ahead, check with this guy and tell me if you find anything. Right? That's basically what we're doing here. All right, so this came back. By default, Nmap scanned for the first 1,000 ports. That's what Nmap scanned for. And it went back and was like, okay, look, man, 977 of these ports were closed. So I didn't get a chance to, check on them. But here's what I found. So ports that are open include 21. You can see 21, which is FTP. It's open. So Nmap is going to tell you the port, the state, the services. And then it goes in and tell you Telnet is open, 23 is open, Insane, email is open, right? RDP, your domain name system is open, HTTP is open, right? 80. This is where the knowledge of a networking comes in, right? If you were just jumping into cybersecurity before knowing a little bit of your networking, go back and study networking. Because as you work as a cybersecurity professional, that knowledge is going to come in handy as you're looking at here. All right, so as you can see, a lot of different ports are open, but this really doesn't give us as much. Basically, it's just telling us, hey, this is the port is open and this is the services that is running that port. But what if we want more information? Well, we can use the Nmap options. And one of the Nmap options we can use is the -A, although we can literally be as advanced as we wanted to. So for example, we can do just -A, and if you remember earlier, -A basically means give us more information. So I'm going to just go ahead and just put the target IP address one more time. So Nmap -A space, the target is IP address. I'm going to hit enter on that keyboard. And this might take a minute. But basically, like I was saying, -A, it's going to go in, give us more information. It's going to detect operating system, the services that they're running, the versions of those services that they're running. And if you're the attacker, that's great because now you know the services that are running and you can take advantage of those things. There might not be the latest or the secure ones. And if you're the good guy, well, now you're going to know that, hey, look, 23 is open. Let's go ahead and close 23 because 23 is bad news. Right? And any one of these other unsecure protocols that's running here. Okay. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. I will come back when this one is finished. And you can see 22, which is SSH, and we can see that this is the version. But not only that, we're able to see even the operating system that this thing is operating on. And if you scroll down, you'll see 23 Telnet. We can see that the version there. We can see 25 for the email. Again, basically, it gives you the same thing like we've seen earlier, but more. Right? For example, right now, this is DNS, right? 53. And look at this. We'll see that it's using the bind and that particular version there as well. So this is really great, right? This is really great. Again, if we're the good guys, now we know what to do. So play around with the different options. For example, you can say Nmap -s capital V, right? And you can just put the target, or you can just say -P, and then you can scan for a particular port, for example, port 80, and then you can just put the the target as IP address, or you can put a range of ports. For example, we can scan from 0 all the way to 65,000, right? Maybe, right? And then you can just put the target. Again, these are the options. You can literally get as advanced as you want. I'll leave that up to you to just maybe experiment with this and, get more, right? Learn more. So the next thing I'm going to need us to do is to check the Nmap scripting engine, right? This is the scripting where we're able to automate a lot of this stuff. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen. And let me just show you one thing first before we dive right in. So the scripting engine, there's a category. I'll put out these links in the description for you. And there's a few categories of these scripts. And the one that we care about the most is the vuln or the vulnerability, right? But each one of these, it's fantastic if you're gonna use it, right? So you got the default, the brute force, the auth for the authentication. These are the most common ones that people use. And then again, vuln is the one that we care about the most. So I'll put the link in the description for you. So let's go back to Kali. Here we are. Right here. Not sure if you guys can see this. Okay, I'm gonna look a bit bigger there. So what we're gonna do here is to cd is change directory to go into where the scripts are installed. So we can take a look at it, right? So I'm gonna do cd, and let's go into the user here, and we're gonna go into share. Oh, again, I am tabbing on my keyboard. I hit tab. So in Linux, when you hit tab, it's gonna complete the command for you. You don't want to misspell anything, right? Again, you just say nm. You can tab it, and it's gonna kind of finish the whole thing for you. And then I'm gonna say script tab, and here we are. So this is a change directory. If you don't know what that was, and basically we're just saying, hey, Kali, take me to that particular directory. That's all we just said. Now that we're here, let's do ls. Right, let's do ls. Let's see what's kind of scripts there are, Nmap scripts there are here. All right, so what I'm going to do here is to search for what I'm looking for, right? Because this is a lot, and you can spend too much time here. Specifically, look for a specific script, but we can grep it. Right? Remember, grepping, it's a way of searching stuff in Linux. So what I am going to do here, I'm gonna ls for list, and what I'm gonna do here is pipe it. Right? Put that little thing right there, and you can get that by doing shift and push the key on your keyboard. That'll bring you that line right there. And once I have that, I'm gonna just say grep, and I'll put -e here, and I'll put the quote here, and then let me just say vulners. All right, vulners. I'm gonna put the spell that. I'm gonna put that there. So vulners is installed, which is fantastic. If it wasn't, you will probably need to update your Linux, which I show you to do that, how to do that on the last video. All right, now that we're here, let's go ahead and just use this. So what we're gonna do is nmap, and we're gonna just put the lowercase s, capital V for the versions. Remember, when you're running these scripts, you have to see the version, otherwise it's not gonna work. So I'm gonna do script here, and look at that. Can now autocomplete this. So script, and we're gonna put equals, and then we're gonna use vulners, right? We say we're using vulners. We just pay vulners, and then right now what we're gonna do is put the target as IP address. So 192.168.1.171. That's our metasploitable machine. Again, let me run this one more time. Nmap, it's what we're using. This is for the version. We're grabbing this script right here, right, by saying hey, script equals that guy. Then we're putting the target as IP address. I'm gonna hit enter on the keyboard, and this might take a minute. So what I'm gonna do is pause the video, then I will be back once this one is finished. All right, to the power of editing, here we are. So the script just finished running. Let's go up here for you. Let me show you what we're looking at. I'm gonna go back a little bit quickly here. This is a lot, right? All right. So the script just went in. We're checking for vulnerabilities here, and it came back and tell us some of the things that are running. Again, it went back because we've said the version. It gave us everything similar to what we've seen before. But if you can look at closely, now we see a couple more information. It's telling us the vulners. It went in and it found that particular vulnerability. And then there's the exploit there. There's the CVE number. So you can literally go to the Google Hacking Database, for example, and search for that CVE and be able to get more information about that particular one. Again, take a look. We see different CVE for that particular port that are open. I'm gonna scroll down and keep going here. We can still see the different CVEs from vulners for the DNS right there. Few other things here. Scroll down a little bit. And I mean, you got the idea, right? Basically, Nmap is going in, is giving us the vulnerabilities, right? Scanning for vulnerabilities. Oh, look at that. That's a lot of vulnerabilities for DNS. And a couple more, right? So once we know what these are, then we can take advantage of them, right? Then we can go find the exploit that we can utilize against these vulnerabilities. So that's basically how you use the Nmap scripting engine. But what if you want to use a script that is not part of the Nmap, that doesn't come with Nmap? So one of the things that you could do is go to GitHub or go to Google and just search for any vulnerabilities, really. Like search for Nmap vulnerabilities. And the one that's very common is this vuln scan, right? I'm going to put the link in the description for you. So vuln scan, it's one of the vulnerability, kind of an Nmap script, if you will, that can go in and give us a couple more vulnerabilities, right? So what we're going to do is install this and then use this, right? Again, maybe you want, scripts that are not within Nmap. Maybe somebody gave you a script, someone, a friend of yours, right? You work with, you want to use that. So that's what we kind of do here. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab the code here. Just grab that guy right there. I'm going to click on code and just grab that guy. And then we're going to go back to Kali. And I'm going to clear the screen by typing clear. And what we're going to do here is git clone. So I'm going to type in git, and I say clone, and I'm going to put the website his name. I'm going to go ahead and just paste that in there. I'm going to just hit in right click and then paste that in there. Let's go ahead and just clean that up. I don't know why that came. There we go. And that's how we want it. So I'm going to hit enter on the keyboard. Basically, git clone is going in. It's just basically cloning everything. All right, so now that we just finished kind of grabbing the script from GitHub, let's go ahead and make sure that this thing have been installed. So I'm going to ls here, and yeah, it looks like this thing have been cloned, right? We got the folder there. So I'm going to just say cd into the vuln scan. I'm going to tab it by hitting tab on my keyboard to the vuln scan. And I'm going to hit enter on the keyboard. Now I am in that directory right there, right? So right here, let me just go to ls one more time, just ls. And what we're going to use here is the vuln scan.nse, that script right here. It's a different script than what we used last time. So this is going to kind of pick up some things from different database, right? So what we're going to do here is type in the nmap command. So nmap dash lowercase s capital V for the version dash script again equals vuln scan. I'm going to use the whole thing with the .nse, which is kind of extension for this. I'm going to say 192.168.1.171, our target. Again, we're just using a different script here, right? And then we're going to hit enter on the keyboard. This is just going to take a second to go in there and do the whole scanning for us. All right, looks like this is taking longer. We'll pause the video and I'll be back as soon as this one is finished. All right, well, it looks like this thing, came back. So let me scroll up a little bit, and this is a lot. When I say a lot, I mean a lot of vulnerabilities. So let's go back all the way up. There we go. This took a really good time to finish all this. All right, there we are. All right, right here. So it went in and it literally scanned everything, right? This is the beauty of using an external kind of script, because it's literally gonna go in and find as much as possible. Specifically, this one is the most common one. So again, it went in, it scanned everything, it came back telling us, hey, look, this is what I found, right? And it's comparing that to the MITRE, and it's giving us more information. This one is not only scanning for the CVE, but it's going to other products. For example, it's going to the IBM X-Force cloud. It's scanning from exploit DB, right? It's scanning from all these other kind of databases, and it's giving us what this thing have found. Again, just beautiful. So this was another way. I just want to show you how to use different scripts from different locations. And as you can see, this thing basically went in and just give us a plethora of different things that we might need, basically. Depends on what we're doing. Anyhow, so that's it. One thing that I want us to do here, just kind of a move on, is getting into Zenmap, because some of you might really not like the command prompt, right? You might enjoy working with the GUI. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to just clear the screen, type in clear and hit enter. We'll go to the browser again, and let's go right here. And again, the link will be included in the description. And what we have here, it's the page where we can go and download basically Zenmap. So right here, click on downloads. Once you're on the web page, then right here, click on Windows or Mac or Linux, depends on what you're using. I'm gonna click on Windows, that's what I'm using. And then I'm gonna grab this executable here. I'm gonna just click on that and get the download going. And as soon as that finishes, I'm gonna double click on it. So double click on this. And I'll go into the whole process of installing kind of a Zenmap. So I'm going to click yes for that pop-up. All right, and then here we are. So click on agree, click on next, click on install, and this is just going to take a second. And there we go, it's finalizing some things. Click next, and do we want that? Yeah, click next again, and then just click on finish. All right. Now Nmap have fully finished installing. So what we're going to do here is bring up the Nmap. I keep saying Nmap, but in this case we call this a Zenmap. So we're going to do Zen. I'm going to go into the search box here and just click on the search for Zen or Nmap. So Zenmap, like I said before, it's a GUI version of Nmap. When I say GUI, it's the graphical user interface of Nmap. You don't like the command prompt, well, you can work with the Zenmap. So right here, it's very minimal. There's some few things that we can do here. So the first thing we could do, you can see the target here, right? This is where we're gonna put in the meta IP address because that's our target. And from there, the commands, as we type in them here, they're gonna change here. You'll see them. And another thing I want to show you is the profile. With the profile, we can do some kind of an intense scan, which is selected by default. Or we can scan for UDP, TCP, you can just do a ping scan, or you can just go crazy and just scan for all that stuff right there, all right, that command right there. So what we're going to do here is just do a regular intense scan. And we're going to type in the Metasploitable's IP address. Actually, let's just type in my entire domain's IP address, right? And it's the entire domain, but entire home network's IP address. So I am on class C. And class C is, /24 with the side notation of 24. Again, this is where your networking skills come in handy. So 192.168.1.0/24. Basically, I'm scanning everything on my home network. And as soon as I finish with that, you can see that Nmap went in and said, hey, look, we want this to be T4, which is the speed. And we're using the -A, which is going to give you more information. And we're going to use the -V for the version. And this is what we're targeting. Right? As soon as I finish with that, I'm going to click on scan. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to hit a yes. If this pop-up box comes up, hit yes. Basically, it's asking, hey, are you sure you want to do this? Just click absolutely. All right, so this is going to take a minute. It's going to go ahead and just scan everything. It's going to look for any cell phones, any TV, anything that's really connected to my home network. It's going to scan for all those things and bring them up. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll be back once we are, once this scan, finished. All right, so it took a minute, but finally this thing is done. So Zenmap went in and scanned for the entire subdomain, right? The entire subnet, if you will. So it was able to find an iPhone, find a router, find a TV, find a MacBook Pro, and so on and so forth. So if I go all the way up to the top in the Nmap output here, I'm able to see like what exactly took place. So right now it's telling me, hey, look, these hosts here, they're down, meaning those IP addresses are not assigned to anything. If I scroll all the way down, I start seeing some things, and you can see that there are some computers that have been discovered, right? As you can see here, we got the router's IP address, we got some other things here. And you scroll down a little bit, you're able to see the MacBook here, you got to see the IP address, you're able to see the iPhone, the ports, the state, the services, similar to what we were looking at in a terminal a minute ago. You can see the services that are open, and the ports that are running on this particular machine. In this case, the iPhone. All right, it goes in, give you a little bit more. MAC address, operating system detection. It's gonna do some trace route and so on and so forth. So as you scroll down, you're able to see what open on what. For example, 53, it's open on the router, right? And as you can see, they're telling me the bin is the one that's installed. You can see 80, you can see the versions, and so on and so forth. So basically, you're getting the same information, right? You're getting the same information, but in a GUI way, right? Using this graphical user interface program known as Zenmap. So another thing you see here is maybe there could be some ports here, but I don't see anything, but the typology. So let's say that this was a very, very big network. Well, you'll be able to see like everything. This system, this Zenmap really goes in and scan for everything that's as a part of your network. So you're able to see the TV again, you're able to see the MacBook, the IP addresses. So if you have, let's say, 1,000 machines, you'll be able to see all of them here. Again, hosts that were discovered, and then the kind of scanning that we just ran, right? The command, if you will. So this is Zenmap. It's really straightforward. You can click on scan. I think you can save the scan, and there's a few other things that you can do here. But really, the tools is it's straightforward. All the commands that you can do in Nmap, you can do them here as well, right? In Zenmap, you can just tap them here and then just run those scans. All right, so that's it. Now, this was Zenmap. Let's dive in and take a look at the cheat sheet, because the thing is, you're not going to be able to memorize all this. Like, nobody ever does. So there are some folks, online who have put together some cheat sheet. The ones that I like, I'm going to share these with you, and I will include the link in the description. But ideally, guys, you want to create your own cheat sheet. Right? You want to make sure for the company you work for, create a little cheat sheet with the most common options and the most common switches that you use with your Nmap. Anyway, this one I really like. It's fantastic. It goes in and show you the target specifications, the host discovery, and the ones that the most common ones, the switches and the most common ones that you will use. So the beauty of this is show you the switch, show you the example, how you run that, then it give you the description of exactly what you're doing. So you scroll down a little bit, you see you're able to see more, right? The services and the versions detection. You can use that, or you can simply just do the -A, which we did. And then you can keep going. You can see some other things, right? The timing, like I was telling, there's from T0 all the way to T5. The one we were using was the T4, which is kind of like the regular one, right? But if you want to be very sneaky, you don't want the IDS, the intrusion detection systems, to be able to detect your scan, you can definitely use these right here. It's going to be very stealth. It's going to be very sneaky, but it's going to also take a very long time. Script, we play around with this. So you see the script, the switches, if you will, the examples, the description, and so on and so forth. So this is a really good one. I'm going to put the link in the description. Here is another one that's really nice. Again, it goes in and give you basically the same thing, right? But a little bit cleaner here. There's one more from our friends at the SANS Institute, right? Which is kind of a really good one too. So I'm gonna put the link in the description for all these. Now let's go back to Kali. All right, let's go back to Kali. Let's finalize this lab by doing the Netcat. So what I'm gonna do here, let me go ahead and just sign in into both of these machines. So I'm gonna sign in into Kali, just Kali again. And here we are. I'm gonna bring up the other machine, Metasploitable. We should be signed in. Yeah, we are. Remember, this is our victim machine. And the Kali here is our attack machine. So what we're gonna do here is open up a Netcat listener into the victim. This could be in the, sitting here in the US somewhere, and this could be me in Russia using my Kali Linux, right? Anyway, so what I'm gonna do here is just type in nc netcat -l -p for port. Then I'm gonna open an arbitrary port. So let's open the 80,000 port, right? That right there. So the reason why I'm opening this, as you probably already know, TCP or UDP has a port from 1 all the way to 65,535 or 36. It depends on who you ask. So while we're opening 80,000, which basically means it's not one of those expected ports. Anyway, so the first thing I'm going to do here is try to open this listener, make sure these two are, listening from the same port. So what we're going to do here is open the Netcat here, which we already did with that right there, with that command. And let's go back to Kali. I'm going to just type in nc and then the victim's IP address. So 192.168.1.171. Then the port that we're listening on. I'm going to hit enter. And the beauty of this, check this out. I'm going to go here and let me just say hello world, right? This is the victim machine. I'm going to hit enter and check that out. Literally, it's being displayed here. And this computer can be anywhere in the world. And right now I can say, Mr. Africana, I am taking your social security number. There we go. So I can literally just exfiltrate the data if I wanted to. I mean, with the Netcat, we can, exfiltrate the data. We can transfer files and all that good stuff. Anyway, so this is what it is here, right? This is what it is. We have these two systems now listening in. Fantastic. So one thing that we can do is to see if Nmap will be able to detect this. So I'm going to open another port here. I'm going to open another terminal here. Make this a little bit bigger for you. All right, there. And right here, first of all, let's do the Nmap, right? This is a different one. This one is listening in, right? We do have a port that is open, that guy right there. So let me see if Nmap will be able to detect this. So let's say Nmap, and just say -s capital T, just for the sake of it. And let's just say for P, and then just for the port purposes, right? And let me say, I need you to detect this particular port from 1 all the way to 80,000, right? And then just say from that IP address, 68.1.1.971, that victim's IP address, right? So let me hit enter. And literally Nmap it's not going to give you a chance. It's telling you, hey, look, no, this is undoable, right? We can't do this. But let's try this. Let's try to say, and bring back the command I just typed by pushing the upper arrow key on the keyboard. I'm going to go back. And let's just say, hey, look, let's just find, let's not even include that. Let's just do a regular scan, right? Let's just do a regular scan here. And right now, make this a little bit bigger for you. Right now, Nmap just went in and did all the scans. And guess what? Nothing. There's no 80,000 anywhere. Right? So this is one of the reasons why. I mean, if you know where to look, it's there somewhere. But Nmap does some kind of not Nmap, but Netcat does some kind of a magic here. So again, the port that we're listening on, it's not here, right? That's kind of the takeaway here. So if you have some kind of a EDR, some kind of a endpoint detection and response, or some kind of a intrusion detection systems or prevention systems, and those things are kind of looking for particular ports, for example, you are not going to be able to find that using something such as using one of these techniques. So, and this techniques is used by the bad guys, it's used by security researchers to be able to evade detection, right? To be able to open arbitrary port and not be able to get detected. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you in this video. I will see you guys in the next video.